Hey everybody, this is Drew.
And it's Blake.
And you're listening to the Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Controllers podcast.
Welcome back to episode 71. First and foremost, I'm going to be going through our social media preamble, or our internet presence preamble. I'm not entirely sure what it's called anymore. You can see us on all the social things, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, as, you know, just search the name of the podcast. We also have a Discord that's been pretty active lately. Some of our people are advertising some of their stuff, and we're branching out and helping them. We also have you find us on Spotify. And on Spotify, you can also find the curated list of songs that have appeared on the podcast that Drew's up. Is it up to date, Drew?
I'm not sure. I'd have to look at it. Sometimes I get a couple of songs behind when I forget to look at it.
That's fair.
What was the last thing I did?
I think it was Periphery.
Periphery?
It's supposed to be.
I'll have to look.
That's fine.
I'll look while you're doing this.
We'll update it live on the cast. As well as Spotify in the musical playlist, there should be a bit of music being played right now. And that is thanks to either Brandon or Skylar. I'm not sure which one will be being played right now. And if you also would like to have your music featured on here as either this bed or possibly even as a back end one, and will help promote your band, you can email us at the number 2 smokingcontrollers@gmail.com. We also have a Patreon and a Lockstock store where you can buy koozies, a glorious pair of underwear, I think beanies and shirts, and a few other knickknacks in there,
pillows and stuff. Live update, I have not added the last song. I'm doing it now as we speak.
And those pillows can be customized with a specific face if you wanted to have either a waifu me or waifu Drew posted just on it, for our fans in the bear community. Like I said earlier, our email is the number 2 smokecontrollers@gmail.com. And more recently, I would like everyone to remember to join us on our Twitch. We've been doing a bunch of the soon-to-be, I think it's the 2 Smoking Controllers presents 3 Smoking Controllers co-op endeavors.
Yeah.
As I believe the name is.
Yeah, we love long, ridiculous names.
We've been running through Dark Souls 3 with our cousin Brian. Please join us for that, and eventually, each game that we complete will turn into an actual episode of the podcast, like an offshoot of the episode. Not one of the main canon ones, but just an offshoot. And nothing wrong with having spin-offs of. And this is also some self-promotion for me. As of today's record, Action, the movie podcast, my other podcast where with me and Steve we talk about movies, it's come back from hiatus. We've launched a new episode, I believe, today.
Yeah.
So it should be active number 16?
15.
15, number 15.
Been a while since we recorded it.
And also, more self-promotion for me is I have a short story that I've self-published on Amazon called They Come This Night. Please check that out. It's free if you have a Kindle Unlimited. If you don't, it's just $1. And all links to everything will be in the show notes.
Yes, they are all there. So please click on that stuff and come follow us and hang out with everything we're doing. We're especially having fun with the Twitch channel now. It was me and Blake streaming random off things by ourselves, and then randomly some co-op things together. But we think adding a third voice and playing stuff like that has made it more fun,
more focused.
I don't know, focus. It was more. Anyway, we're not more focused with Brian.
No, God, no.
But it's fun to have a third voice.
You ready to kick us off, Drew?
Yep. So I don't know if he mentioned in the beginning. I don't forgot, but we did have 2 games and a movie for you selected. We're trying it's been a pretty busy month or so of things leaving Game Pass like back to back. Mm-hmm. So we're trying really hard. We keep joking, not a Game Pass podcast. We keep trying really hard to do that. So we have a ton, like quite a few Game Pass games on our piled up for the podcast. And, I say unfortunately, but it's still cool games and stuff like that. But we did manage to squeeze in a GameFly game that we both completed for this episode to keep the entire podcast not being just Game Pass games or games that have left Game Pass. And when we've bought games too, we promise, but it's just hard to, like, even now we're racing to beat, I won't spoil it right now, we're racing to beat a game right now before it leaves Game Pass. So it's tough trying to keep up with Game Pass and then anything else you're trying to do in the world, Game Pass and GameFly together. But we do have a GameFly game first that we both completed, and we'll follow that up with a Game Pass game that we both completed as well. So got good stuff.
So the first game we'll be tackling is called Mafia Definitive Edition. Now, the definitive edition of Mafia came out September 25th, 2020. Mm-hmm. The original Mafia game came out in 2002, so there's quite a large gap between
20
these.
20 years.
Mm-hmm. Well, 18. Do your math.
Well, whatever. It's close enough. Round up. 20 years.
So the definitive edition, the developer is called Hangar 13. The original developer was Illusion Software.
Yeah, this is interesting. As I talked about on the podcast, we did Mafia 3 really early in the podcast. I'd actually started with Mafia 2 because I couldn't, because I was able to play that on Xbox 360, and I didn't want to go back and try to find Mafia on the original Xbox and stuff like that. But I, for some reason, assumed that even the original Mafia was developed by Hangar 13. It's interesting to find out that I guess you may have some more story about it, but they took over with Mafia 2, and then they did Mafia 3, mm-hmm. And I don't know if you have anything for them, but there's rumors that they're working on something else, whether it be Mafia or something else. I'm not very sure yet, because they did the remake here. Yeah. This is your actual, we'll get into it, this is your actual first Mafia game. I've been trying to get you to play Mafia 3 for so long, because Mafia 3 is my favorite of the trilogy, which is ironic because it's most people's Mafia 3 is the one they dislike the most of the trilogy.
Because it has nothing to do with actually being a mafia.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with being in the mafia, but I think the gameplay and the story itself of Mafia 3 is just my favorite. I mean, maybe it's just like I said before, maybe it's the massive killing spree you go on. 'Cause you kill folks in Mafia 1 and Mafia 2, but the sheer numbers, even combined, I think you combine the numbers of people you kill in the first 2 games, it pales in comparison to Mafia 3. But we'll get into those other games maybe some other time. I don't know if we'll come back. We might do it. We might touch on Mafia 3 a decade from now when you finally get to it. Because that sucks now, because we're going to talk about it. Mafia 1 is my least favorite of the trilogy. And now you've started with Mafia 1, so you've kind of started on kind of the low end, I think. But I'm rambling here on about this with our short history with the franchises.
So, like I said, or you said earlier, the developer is Hangar 13. Now, they weren't fully established as Hangar 13 when they helped with Mafia 2, so it doesn't count in their corporate thing. I
thought they fully developed Mafia 2.
They only fully developed Mafia 3 in this.
Their name was all over Mafia 2.
They helped, but...
So was it still the other company?
There was like in between.
Gosh, very confusing.
because that company was absorbed and dissolved essentially by 2K.
Okay.
And they separated, and then during that time they were kind of like, you're better at this, you go do this, and they dissolved that and made them into Hangar 13. So technically it was one development team but two teams at the end.
This is a very complicated.
It's that inner workings nonsense.
Yeah, it's not a publisher. Very confusing because I've been trying to keep an eye on Hangar 13 since I had played Mafia 2, and then a couple years later I had played 3. And when I first turned on Mafia 2 on the 360 back in the 360 days, it was one of the crazy best looking games I saw, and I was like, this is maybe a company, especially for a company nobody's really heard of, and who knows what the budget was on this game, but this is like a really interesting looking game, like the way it looks and how much effort it was. Like it just seemed like a quality. Oh, yeah. And like a quality developer. I don't know what the right word I'm looking for is, but
quality developer.
But it was somebody I wanted to like keep an eye on, and I was excited when they eventually announced Mafia 3. I was like, oh, this is going to be dope, because 2 was so good.
And so, kind of what happened is, well, as far as I know, because the company is only 37 people.
Yeah, small companies.
37 people across 4 separate studios. Their headquarters is based out of Novato, California, and they were the original studio was founded December 2014, and then they've had, like I said, gone to 4 other studios, but I think those other studios are also in other countries, but they're all called Hangar 13.
That's weird. So they're all one company, but they're working remotely from 4 different places.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a little strange, but I mean, you got to do what you got to do.
They do build really cohesive games. The games aren't broken up really.
Well, no, but you can tell in this game there's a distinct difference between like when there's a cutscene and when there's there's a hard drop.
Yeah, you can, but that might be. You mean like the graphic drop from cutscene to gameplay?
No. I mean like you transition, like that this is. It always.
It does that
black.
Weird. It does that Mafia 3. I think that's a choice. Those little hard cuts from a cutscene at hard cuts. Mafia 3 does that. I think that's a style choice. Like it's like a what do you call it? Like dang, I can't think of the word, but I think it's on purpose.
Yeah, because I know some games.
It's like a cliffhanger drop, but like not every cutscene ends in a cliffhanger, but it's always like so said this. Vroom,
it's like it
does that weird noise.
It's like slating for a movie. It's like action. It's
kind of like that. Yeah, it kind of does.
I remember what game was it? The first time I legitimately noticed it was like on Xbox or 360 Darkness, where you didn't even realize that the cutscene was over and you died. You're like, oh,
Darkness 2.
Yeah, you're like, oh crap, the game started. I didn't realize it was all. I thought it was a cutscene.
Yeah.
So maybe that might be because the game versus cutscenes look incredible, but there's a distinct camera angle difference. So maybe that's their way of like, you can play now.
Yeah, this is probably, I don't know. This is on every gen, I think, but this is. It's been a couple of years since I played Mafia 3, but this is technically the newest released Mafia game, so probably graphically the most modern and good looking of the Mafia series. Mm-hmm. It does look like incredible when you're playing it, but there's not a whole lot to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Continue on. We keep getting sidetracked here.
You good?
It was an interesting company, I feel like.
Yeah. The founder of Hangar 13, which is a gentleman named Hayden Blackman, he got his start in video games working for LucasArts for 13 years. Ooh. And then he was like...
LucasArts, the game developer?
Yeah.
They did mostly like point-and-click adventures and stuff, I think.
Yeah.
This is before we even really... If they did PC games back in the day, we would have never touched them. We don't touch PC games now.
Graphic adventures
maybe and stuff back in the day.
Besides that, he's also dabbled in writing comics for all three. All three of the big ones: Image, DC, and Marvel.
Wow. He's
written for Batwoman. He wrote for Elektra, and then he did his own thing called Echo Lands for Image. Now the funny thing is, he was planning on to keep writing Batwoman, but he had a decision to make her. I think she's going to marry her longtime girlfriend, and they're like, "No, that's stupid." And he's like, "But that's how the story's progressing." And they're like, "No, that's stupid." And he's like, "Well, then I quit." And they go, "Okay," and they killed off her character.
So stupid. It's like they weren't ready to have a full blown gay marriage in their comic book.
Yeah,
so they
it was.
let the guy do
But
it.
she's out and a lesbian, so I don't understand what the deal was.
It's just this one step they couldn't take.
But they refused to let her get married, so he was like, "I quit." And then
that's because then whoever it was, that's DC. Mm-hmm. So then DC would they'd have to have a stance against we're pro.
I'm sure.
But now that you don't do it, then now you're clearly not pro gay marriage. So you're kind of like it's so
and
dumb.
It caused him to just quit DC, and he went to Marvel, wrote for Elektra for a while, and then he did. He's like, I kind of want to do something else. And I'm like, why don't you try video games?
He writes for a lot of writing for females, so there's not really any females in the Mafia for him to write for.
There's a strong woman who gets very few scenes.
We're going to talk about that. She starts off really strong, and she gets backseated so hard in this game. We'll get to that. But in Mafia 2 and 3, there's really no female leads. Well, there is like one female lead in Mafia 3.
Who's the legit Mafia? She's the godmother, whatever you want to call her.
The leader of the Haitians. Anyway, but she's in there, but she don't have that much. I mean, she's not that much of a big deal. It's strange. You think he would? Maybe it's hard. Maybe harder to push a female lead into a Mafia franchise. Maybe like I said, maybe they'll develop a game with a strong female lead at some point.
Yes, and considering the time frame.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Yeah,
we've grown sort of since then.
Yeah, since the time frame of the
sort of.
Because they're all the mafias are based in different decades. So again, okay, keep going.
Yeah, sorry. And since we don't normally cover it until a little bit later, I'm going to go ahead and tackle it now. Graphically, it's not an art style choice. I'm not going to have a hard time describing it. It's realistic 1930s.
Yeah, it's real graphics. Yeah, it's
100% realistic. They mocapped, they captured people's faces and stuff, and did all that.
I think it's cool. Though you don't get to, they're not really fun to drive. But there are not many games where you get to see vehicles of this era and drive them around and see them in such high graphic fidelity as these old 1930s. These old 1930s vehicles. It is to the point where you're like, we didn't do all the achievements because there's just other reasons we didn't. But there's a collecting all cars achievement I didn't do. And I was struggling with that because a lot of the 1930s cars looked the same because there just wasn't that many cars back then.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of choice.
So, but that's one of the cooler things about playing. And I don't think there's many or if any other games of this era. So it is interesting to see a game based in this time period.
Mm-hmm. So the game takes place in Lost Haven, Illinois, which is a fictional city, in case you don't know.
Is it Lost Haven or Lost Heaven?
Haven. Lost Haven. And the gameplay, it's kind of a little rapid fire, but the game itself is a framed story over the course of 8 years. Not from 1930 to 1938. Mm-hmm. And we follow our main protagonist, which is a gentleman named Tommy Angelo. Tommy Angelo. Who is a taxi driver and is...
You're a taxi driver for one cutscene?
For two. The cutscene and then like the prologue. And then something happens. But essentially he ends up being, he's about to get off duty or something. And then there's a gunfight around the corner and these two mobsters run up to him, put a gun to his head and said, drive. And he's like, okay. And he drove very fast, very well, and got him to where they were supposed to be undamaged. And they're like, you're good, kid. We'll holler at you if you ever need anything. And they gave him a fat stack of cash, and he went about his day.
So then it leads to him eventually getting recognized by some of the, so he didn't know he was helping one particular gang. So I think he gets recognized by guys from the other gang. And they end up chasing him and they beat the crap out of his taxi and end up chasing him. And Tommy runs. Is it on purpose or is he like kind of stumble into the other people?
It seems on purpose.
When you're sprinting to try to get safe. So the people he jumped into his car, he's sprinting towards their like office or just where I just don't know why he would know where they were.
Because he dropped them off there at their home office.
That's true.
So
he gets back there, and then
he's like, if I'm being shot at by people, the only reason I'd be shot at by people, or because of the people I helped, let me take the trouble to them and let them resolve it. It's kind of, I guess that's what his thinking was.
Which they do. He gets there, and the two guys, which we can go in, that's Sam and
Paulie.
talk the other two guys, the guys chase him. He talks them down because now they're in their neck of the woods. So the guys walk off and like, oh, we'll get you later, Sam and Paulie. And then they kind of does that, and then you go from there. And Sam and Paulie introduce Tommy to the Don.
Don Salieri.
Don Salieri, and then the game pretty much Tommy gets recruited at that point, and then kind of the rest of the game until at the very end, you're kind of just working for Don Salieri. There's other. We're going to hit some points and stuff like that, but the rest of the game, from here on, you're working for him. Now, the frame story is Tommy sitting in a diner with a cop. 8 years later, he's going to turn over. That's why it's an interesting setup. Is he's going to turn over the Don and give away all the secrets of what the mafia, his side of the mafia, has been doing for the past 8 years. So that's how you get to the frame story. It goes from scenes of him talking to the cop, and the cop says his little piece, and then you cut to into the frame story, to where all that stuff happens, and you occasionally get cutbacks to the present time. I think there's a spoiler to say that this doesn't do like a normal frame story. You don't cut back and then play after.
No.
The game, when the game ends, it shows the game you stop playing, and then the game plays out after, like cutscenes play out after the frame story.
Yeah. Which
is a weird way to do it. I wonder if they had development constraints or if there just wasn't any reason to keep playing after that point when there wasn't any more story, because most times when you do a frame story, I don't know, is there a more recent gaming frame story than Final Fantasy X?
I honestly don't know.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I don't know, but Final Fantasy X is a pretty famous frame story. You do play back up to that point, don't you? And then you keep playing after that point. And any frame story in a movie or anything else, you eventually get to witness or play the point afterwards. And I thought this was very strangely handled.
Yeah, the end game kind of
rushed.
It feels so. I'm not entirely sure if there were restraints or anything, because it doesn't mention anything about it.
Yeah, I wonder, because I know if they had development restraints at all, I mean, they would probably be more public about it. They usually are, because Mafia 3 didn't sell as well as they wanted it to, and I wonder how they even got the approval to remake Mafia 1 if that's the case.
Well, the only thing it says they had issues with the release.
What about?
Well, because of all the nonsense.
Oh, okay.
And they said it was pushed back and that the release date was pushed back, so it gave them more time to work on it.
Okay.
So I don't know. That's the only problem that I see. It says it was originally supposed to come out in August and was pushed back a whole month. Well, almost 2, because it said the end of September instead of the beginning of August.
So
that's the only thing that I see. Everything else just says everything kind of went off without a hitch.
So it seems like the story is supposed to be that Tommy's not okay with what he's doing, but I don't think you don't get a real feeling for that necessarily. Like, it tries to force it in a little bit here and there. Like, Tommy will he'll give us some orders to go do something kind of nefarious, and he'll make a face, and he's like, okay, boss, and he kind of goes and does it. There's that weird juxtaposition there, because clearly on the end of the frame story, he's giving it all up. But one of the bigger things is I don't think he's killed anybody for the Dawn, so you're sent on this mission to go kill that mayor's, who was that guy, like the mayor's son or something?
Well, you kill the guy, you find out later it was the mayor's son.
So yes, so
you kill him because he was harassing Sarah.
Yeah, so but you get to that whole thing, so you're chasing them guys down, and you go through this warehouse, and you gun down 20 people. Like, you're just pop gunning down, and the gunplay sucks. It's not great. The gunplay just sucks in this game. It's just weird because it wasn't bad in Mafia 3, and this game kind of looks like, when you're playing it, it kind of looks and has kind of almost sort of the feel of Mafia 3 a little bit, but worse than Mafia 3, which is strange because they made it afterwards.
Well, you got to think, Mafia 3 has slightly more modern weapons. These are weapons from the 30s.
So you think they made them shoot crappy on purpose?
Kind of. I would assume so, because
they are trying to be authentic.
Exactly, because Mafia 3 was in the 60s, 70s?
Yeah.
So guns are a little more updated over 30, 40 years.
You're right, but I was wondering if it was on purpose. But anyway, the gunplay in this game sucks.
It's not great.
So, but you gun your way through this warehouse, you kill like 15, 20 people, and you get in your car and you chase these kids down in this car. It's a chase scene. Too many chase scenes in this game. You wreck. They wreck, and you get out, and a cutscene starts where Tommy walks up to the thing and he holds the gun up, but and the guy's like, "Oh, please don't kill me, please don't kill me," and Tommy like hesitates, and then Paulie walks up and like caps the kid,
Twice in the head, one in the chest.
Yeah, and then Tommy's like upset about it. I was like, "You just is this like what is that what's that? What do you call that? There's a term for like
I don't want to say juxtaposition, but it's a."
They talk about like back in like Tomb Raider, like the first when they started the Tomb Raider remakes, where she was like all upset that she killed a person, and then like she's just like wiping out a freaking armada through not armada, but what do you call a group of
a bandit camp?
I don't know. I just can't find words
today. Platoon,
squad, maybe a platoon or a squad of bounty hunters that she just wipes out through
a
that
unit.
game.
You know, there's a couple of different measurements of people.
There's lots of words. I pulled armada out of my head.
That's for
the one word that doesn't work.
I mean, you could have said pack, because some of these people are wild and crazy.
Anything. But anyway, same thing with the Tomb Raider. And eventually she's okay with killing, but you kill a bunch first in this game, and then it gets to a cutscene where he just like crossing the line of killing for the Don's not okay. Now, Paulie has no problem killing, but Paulie's been in the Mafia for a while.
The only thing I could think in that particular scene is that was fight or flight. Is like his adrenaline took over and he was just protecting himself. And this one, they were wounded and begging for mercy, and he got a moment to adrenaline fell down and he saw them as people. But that leaves up to you to interpret that.
Yeah, I guess.
That's the only thing I see for that moment.
You think he would have just let him go, but
I think
if it was his choice, he would have let him go.
He probably would have.
Anybody that was wounded enough go.
Well, they were begging for help, and technically they were kids. In his eyes, they were kids. Like they were 19. 20, yeah. They were younger than him. They were kids.
Barely younger than him. Tommy's not that old, I don't think.
I don't think so, but I think that's what, because he does that moral thing a couple of times, but he also, as he gets deeper and deeper to the Mafia thing, if he says no, he dies because he's seen other people die.
Yeah, he has.
So he gets the fear, where he doesn't like it, but he has to.
He gets sent on a thing. We won't say who, but there's somebody that betrays the Don. And you chase this person. There's twice it happens. One, I forget the order. There's the one the Don kills right in front of him.
That's the second one.
Okay, so the first one you chase down
by yourself,
and Tommy lets him go.
Well, you have a choice. No,
it's a cutscene.
Oh, it's a cutscene. Yes,
it's a cutscene. So Tommy lets this person go. They get killed later anyway. Like the Don finds out. This is what we're jumping ahead. We just had our spoilers for the beginning of this podcast. We're gonna try to avoid some of the stuff, but we're gonna have a little bit of spoilers for it. This is I think the story is the most important part of this game because the gameplay is not that great, and the driving and stuff like that. I think the main focus of this would be the retelling of this story from the first game. But he lets that person go. That happens first, really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Okay, and then
because the other one is more aggravated because it's a second betrayal. That's why
you're chasing a guy, and then the Don's with you, and when you catch the guy's begging for his life, and the Don literally beats him to death right in front of Tommy.
Stomps his face.
Yeah, beats him to death in front of Tommy. That's when Tommy gets sees the darker side of what he's a part of, and I think maybe that's what scares him into never trying to leave or do anything. But he still makes a lot of strange choices and does weird things behind the Don's back here and there. And then there's we talked about female leads. Mm-hmm. What's her name?
Her name is Sarah, though I don't have a last name for her.
Yeah, her dad. Her dad works for the restaurant that is the front for.
He's the bartender.
Luigi, who is the front for the Don's place. The Don's whole organization is above and behind the restaurant. It's all in there. His daughter, Tommy, and her kind of hit it off. She plays hard to get for a little while. There's a few cute cut scenes, and then there's a date and a couple of interesting. There's a lot of build up to them, a lot of nice, cute cut scenes that build up to them getting together. And then when they get together, you basically never see her again.
You see her
she gets
twice.
Yeah, she's in 2 more cut scenes. It's just one really good cut scene. I feel like where she delivers one of my favorite lines in the game. We'll get to that in a second. I want to share that one while we're talking about her. But yeah, there's a lot of build up to them getting together, and they do end up getting married. Getting married and having a kid,
A daughter.
But all this is kind of, you find out this like through other people talking, like, Tommy, how's the wife and kid, and blah blah blah. There's no more relationship with them in the game.
You don't even see the kid at all.
You don't see the kid at all. So there's no more relationship build up. Now Tommy in the present day is talking about he wants to he'll trade this information for the Mafia. He'll trade them for the safety of his wife and daughter.
Yeah.
So he's doing this for them anyway. I just wish that if that was about that so much, then that you would have more of this.
Yeah.
More of them together, just in little one-off cutscenes every couple of, because there's so much jumping in time through his work through the Mafia that you should sprinkle in the wife and daughter more throughout.
Because it'd be cool to say like an in-between mission was like take Sarah. Again, I don't remember the daughter's name. We'll say Sally. We'll say take Sarah and Sally.
Yeah, does she even have a name?
I don't know if they've said it, but we take them on a picnic, on a Sunday picnic, and like you're doing that, and then out of nowhere, your compatriots Sam and Paulie, like they know where you're at, and they we got a job to do. Cut it quick with the fam. I know it's they could have how it's interrupting his family life, and that could have been like a build. You could have just small cutscenes or like one playable thing, but they did none. Yeah,
hard cut to never seeing her again.
Which I guess if it's called Mafia, it's not called family. It's more about
but it's just like
it's
why he's trying to get out.
Yeah, you'd think you'd have some sort of emotional connection, but
and then the struggle between the family and the Mafia family should be strong because he gets really tight, and you don't really get enough of him connecting so much. I mean, he works for 8 years, with Sam and Paulie, but there's not enough of them just having fun either.
No, not
you only because it's a video game. You only cut to the action scenes of them doing jobs together. There's no,
There's not so much with Sam, but there is one with Paulie where you pick him up and you dust him off. He's drunk at someone's wedding.
It's like twice you pick him up drunk, I think.
Yeah,
or is that's the same one? We're supposed to drive him home?
Yeah, you drive him home and you have a choice to take him home or take him to...
There's an achievement we both missed there because he's in the you're driving, he's drunk, and he's talking about taking him to a strip club. But
the Blue Flamingo?
We both took him home. Apparently there's an achievement we missed if you take him to... Because he's telling you where it's at.
Yeah.
If you take him to the strip club, you get an achievement for taking him to the strip club. But we both missed it completely.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to her. She is part of one way later in the game cutscene while he's at home. This is after you are sent by Don to kill a politician.
Yeah, kill
This is a way too long, way extended. This is drug out. Like you could have cut this scene in half to add more time. The prison scene where you're working your way to the prison. It's probably one of the worst parts of the game.
It's obnoxious because
your way. It's so extended for no reason. Like you could have literally cut this, the time it takes to get to this prison, cut it in half and divert your development time somewhere. Cause no part of the prison's fun.
Let me explain. Because first you have to drive through the city to find like an abandoned area. Like I think the old prison, because everything's been moved. So you have to find the old prison that has been taken over by homeless people. You have to kind of semi-befriend or get through the homeless people, get to the tunnels.
Well, some fight you.
Yeah, go through the tunnels, avoiding the people, get through the sewers, make it to the prison, and then work your way through the prison, also avoiding and occasionally fighting more homeless folk. And then you make it all the way up this tower, this on the other side of the river, and you're trying to snipe a politician.
Mm-hmm.
Lo and behold, of course, the game won't move forward unless you murk the guy. And then immediately, because you've stolen a cop radio, and they're like, it came from the old prison, and you get swarmed.
And you have to go all the way back out of the prison.
You have to literally fight all the way back out.
Yeah, it's such a drag.
It was, it'd have been much better if it was just like a straight stealth, or instead of it doing combat, to like sneak through the thing to get out, or have an alternate path, like jump off the thing with the parachute, land in a speedboat, and drive off. Something besides redoing everything you just did, only with more gunfire.
Yeah, it sucked. But killing that politician does lead to a scene with her where in her house, I guess she's reading a newspaper or something like that.
And she's watching the telly.
Is there television back then?
Yeah.
In the 1930s?
Or maybe she's listening to radio.
It's the radio. Either way, she finds, you hear about this politician getting killed. She doesn't know. I don't think, doesn't seem like she does. I think she'd be madder because I don't think she knows Tommy's the one who did it.
No, she knows what he does, but she's also willfully ignorant because her dad's in the business.
Maybe how involved he is.
Yeah.
But this also shows you how ignorant Tommy is of the stuff that he does. She's like, did you hear about this politician getting killed? And Tommy's like, yeah, I heard he's a little bit of a scumbag, but he don't know anything about it. He was just told to kill him by the Don, and the dude's doing stuff. So really, the guy's probably, as good as a politician can be, might have been doing good things or pressing up against the mafia, the crime, until the Don wanted him taken out. So really, you did a really bad thing. And she was like, yeah, maybe, but he was also fighting for women's rights. I will have the right to vote because of this man. And then she says, I guess everybody's not just one thing, are they, Tommy? And I like that line. Like, he may be just a scumbag to you, but or a scumbag, or you may have heard he's a scumbag, but he's been doing great things. But the irony of it is, I love that line, but Tommy didn't know nothing about him.
Knew nothing.
Had no idea.
And because of him, I'm allowed to vote now, Tommy.
Yeah.
And Tommy was just like,
He had nothing to say.
He had no clue.
Nothing to say after that. And that's one of the better, her line, I guess everybody's not just one thing, are they?
Like, because she had, as I'm thinking about it, she had some good scenes, but they were so fast and so few between.
Well, there's really just that one. There's like an ending scene with her where he tells him to run.
You have the intro scene where you're a little meet cute, which is fun and endearing. You're like, oh, this is sweet. And then sometime later, I think you beat somebody to death. Like, with your bare hands, you have to beat somebody because they won't give up. And then
you come home covered in blood.
And she's super mad. The candles half burnt. The food's dinner, and she's just sitting there smoking. She's like, cold food's on the table if you want to eat and join me for dinner. And then she turns around and he's just stone-faced, and you have blood spattered all over the side of his face and his coat. And because she knows, she immediately, puts down her cigarette, comes over to him and goes, oh, and just starts like undressing him and like patting his head, and goes gets a cloth, makes because he's like, I guess in shock, he's catatonic, and she just controls him to the sit down, wipes his face, takes him to the bedroom. Like, she immediately took over because she knew it wasn't his fault why he was late. Like, it was like she was understanding, but those moments, I guess they're powerful because there were so few. But I do 100% wish there were more with them, with the family, with his family. And we talk about that. The game itself is incredibly linear. They don't really allow you free time to play. They actually have a whole separate mode, called free ride mode. They let you do.
Problem is, let you drive around. There's just not a lot to do or see, really. Like, you can steal cars and stuff like that and drive around, but it's just not. I don't think it's worth the time. Like you're going to drive around enough in the main game that I think you'll see majority of what you want to see of the city. And it even has a skip drive thing. Like, you'll hop into a car and it'll say skip drive, and you hit down on the D-pad, and it'll fade to black, and it'll fade back in, and you're at your destination.
You're pulling into the spot before.
So if you don't like the drive or don't like the cars, you have that as an option.
I did that as much as possible.
I didn't do it that as much as you, I don't think, because I wanted to hear. Like, I didn't do it if I had somebody in the car with me, because
I sat still until their dialogue was done, then hit skip drive.
Oh, really? I drove. I just drove the whole way if they were talking, because sometimes they would talk in the beginning and they would be quiet, and all of a sudden they would talk more at the end of the drive. So
I don't know.
I just wanted to hear it all. Yeah.
I mean, because the voice acting was impeccable. It was really, really good.
Very,
now,
very
however, the person who did the voice work for Paulie made a choice. I'll just say that. They made a choice. Now, speaking of voice acting, it does sadden me that this entire cast was new. None of it was original people.
Okay, why does that sadden you?
Well, it doesn't sadden me because I have no attachment to them, but like, I thought it'd be cool. It's always cool when people come back, because it talks about the Italian release. The original Tommy came back from the O2 version, came back and reprised his role to do the voice work.
Only the Italian version?
In the only Tommy in the Italian version, but then it goes on to say in the Czech Republic or whatever, the entire original cast came back and redid all their voice work.
And that whatever that language is?
Yeah, Czech.
So why do they not do their? They couldn't get the American cast.
I guess not. I don't know. Maybe people had moved on, or some of them were just like, I don't do video games.
I was wondering if it was like re-recorded or if it used the old audio. I mean, I couldn't tell.
It was all re-recorded. Not only was it re-recorded, but they had to it's a remaster. They rebuilt the entire game, made it more focused.
This is a remaster. This is a remake.
A remake, 100% floor ground up remake, to the point where like they even talked about like areas that needed a lighter touch. Like Chinatown and stuff like that. They made it more vibrant and less racist, for lack of a better term, and a couple other things like that. They used data mapping for the city and for the driving and everything, and as well as, like I said, the motion captures for the people. They had to record new scoring for everything, and on top of all this, they actually expanded the original story.
Do they?
There are some moments, to the point where the original writer even praised and he approved and praised the additions. Like one of the big additions that was not, I think, in the original. Actually, I don't really know because it didn't say what the additions were. It's just that there were additions made to make I can guarantee you the ending was definitely added on since it connects directly to Mafia 2.
Yeah, it does connect directly to Mafia 2, yeah.
And everything was praised. Like, they're like, oh yeah, the graphics are great, this is great. But the one thing that got a lot of backlash, which I 100% agree with, is some of the animations they chose to do. Like, some of these, it was so stiff, and I don't think they used mocap for that.
That's weird. They mocap most of it, didn't they?
Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about? Like some of the fist fighting was just so rigid.
The fist fighting was very rigid
and dumb. Like, I get it. Maybe they didn't know martial arts back then, or really how to fight other than the box. But it was horribly rigid.
It's okay though. You ain't got to fist fight all that much.
Do you have anything you want to add?
I'm not sure. Is there any more parts of the game you want to touch on? We don't want to go too much into the. We've kind of touched a lot of spoilers, but...
we've left quite a bunch of things out. We didn't say...
You just said there's a Mafia 2 connection, which didn't exist before. You do Mafia 2. I didn't understand it at the time, but in Mafia 2, one of your missions is, when I played it, is you're sent to kill this guy named Tommy Vincetti in Mafia 2, and it's kind of a cutscene that just plays out in Mafia 2, and I was like, I don't know who that was. I think I Googled it at the time. And somebody was like, oh, it's so cool. That's the protagonist from the first game. I was like, oh, that is pretty cool. You're sent to kill him. That sucks for that guy.
That I didn't know.
That plays out. I mean, it's not so much a spoiler if it's in Mafia 2, but because it doesn't happen in the game. It happens in one of the final cutscenes. One of the final cutscenes, it's playing out Tommy's life after, quote unquote, getting away from the Mafia. He has a whole life, which is pretty good. And then it finally gets to the scene where Vito and... forget the other guy's name, come up in a cutscene, and they're like, are you, Tommy Vincetti? And he's like, he says something, and the other guy blows him away with a shotgun, which is what happens in Mafia 2.
Point blank
blows him away. I was like, that's pretty cool. It kind of wraps it all the way around. And then, like I said, Mafia 3, Vito is one of the guys you work with, so they keep it all kind of connected in this world of Mafia. Is there any other scenes? Like, there's the race, which I imagine is one of the hardest parts of the entire game.
It's
There's one race in the entire game. It's bad, real bad.
Real bad.
There's the. It's just not ain't much more to say. So it's just really hard for no reason.
And the too many chase scenes that go
so
on
many.
Too long. And there's
so many chase scenes, chasing cars, chasing people, just
they're
always chasing somebody for some reason. Eventually end up chasing an airplane. Chasing the airplane sucks. I had to help you with the final part.
I couldn't do it.
A part that should be cool. A part that shouldn't have a fail state. Like, I guess the length of the airstrip, whatever. But you're in a car chasing an airplane, and you have to gun out the engines, which would be cool if it wasn't so difficult to do in the game. Like, you have a Tommy gun, and you're like shooting the engines, which took me multiple tries in my game, and then I eventually had to add a couple more tries to do it for Blake and his, because honestly, there's a point in games where you quit sometimes, and that was Blake's breaking point.
That was the second time I was about to quit the game. The first time was the race.
Yeah. Did you beat the race, or did I beat the race?
I ended up beating the race on my second night of trying because I gave up on it the first night.
So those parts are just really, really suck, and all the chase scenes suck. We're talking bad checkpoints. Like you're chasing somebody on a motorcycle one time, like you're on a motorcycle, and if you wreck at all, they get away, and it starts.
Or you die.
Yeah, or you start back at the beginning. So like I was just like, this is checkpoint somewhere now. Come on, but I mean, far too many chases. I know there's maybe limited gameplay options, but we just don't need to be chasing so much. I just think it was unnecessary, especially in vehicles and stuff like that weren't fun to drive. You got any other scenes you want to point out before we move on?
I'm trying to think of maybe a few cool ones, because there is. I mean, there's cool, but there's also spoilery, and I don't really want to.
There's a what do you call those boats?
A paddle boat, not a paddle boat, but they have the river boat. They have that
river boat, yeah, a huge river boat. This game has one of those too. I mentioned it being one of my favorite scenes in Mafia 3. This is nowhere near as good. I thought it was funny to kind of see it happening again in a different way. Like you're there to. It's funny how they keep ended up on these boats when they're there to kill somebody, but it's nowhere near as good as it is in Mafia 3. So.
Yeah,
But you haven't seen that yet. But there's the paddle. What do you call it? The riverboat scene in Mafia 3 is done a lot better than this one. It's really, really.
Man, I wonder if it was an homage or that one was an homage to like, oh, we did that, but we can do it so much better nowadays.
Maybe. Who knows which because we don't know was the riverboat scene in the original game.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how a riverboat would have looked on Mafia on the Xbox. Anyway, so there's that.
Yeah, we didn't get the 1K. We didn't.
Yeah. Once we realized there's a beat the game on hard achievement, we lose interest in games like that pretty quickly. And then there is, for no reason whatsoever, an excessive amount of collectibles in this game. There's no reason for it. There's just hundreds of them. It seems like it's just so many. Like Mafia 2 had like Playboys or something like that. And then Mafia 3, I think, had Playboys, and then there's these like little other things.
Police badges or something?
No, not police. I don't know what else they have. But they both had whatever. They both had other things. This is just like random collectible cards and comics and stuff like that, which have no relevance to the game at all. No relevance to the game or the characters in any kind of way. They pop up on your mini map, so I grabbed the ones when you're close to them, and I thought the game would be like leading you to like. I thought that most of them would be in the path of the main game, which quite a few of them are. There's just so many.
It's definitely less than half.
And I wouldn't doing all of that, especially if I wasn't getting a 1K. Like if there wasn't a difficulty achievement, like if all I had to do was like beat the game and then drive around and do a couple and collect some stuff, I might have gotten the 1K.
Yeah, but
I didn't get the 1K in Mafia 2. I did get it in Mafia 3 because I played Mafia. That's the difference in a game you like. Mafia 3 has 2 separate endings. You have to play the game completely all the way through twice to get the 1K, and I did that in Mafia 3. So,
but you would like plow through the.
Yeah, well, it's interesting in Mafia 3. Again, we keep bragging about that game. I played all that game originally through one way, and then later, when all the DLC come out, and some of the DLC applies to the main game, so I was able to play my entire second playthrough of Mafia. Had the DLC sprinkled in, so it was kind of like a bonus experience plus the game. Plus, I changed the way the story played out. So, I don't know. Mafia 3 is just a better game, in my opinion. You won't probably hear that anywhere else because people talk bad about Mafia 3, but in my opinion, it's the best. This is probably worth experiencing. Well, we got it on GameFly, so we didn't pay for it or anything like that. I would, if anything, I would GameFly. It was 20, 25 hours, something like that.
Well, in order to get everything, doing what I did, according to TA, my playthrough is 12 hours.
I don't know what mine is. Let me see real quick. Keep talking for a second.
So this one time at band camp.
Okay, mine's 11 hours. Okay, so 11 hours, 67% of the achievements. Yeah, I wasn't doing it all. As of the recording of this podcast, it's on sale for $13, but it's probably worth $13 if you're going to do everything.
Yeah.
Other than that, I would just GameFly it and play through the story. I wouldn't do anything more than that unless you really, really love it.
You got how much percentage of the achievements, Drew?
67.
Okay, me too. But I think we had different ones though.
We had a lot of the same achievements probably.
I'm sure there's one or two we got to do it though.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's enough for Mafia 1. We talked about it for quite a bit, which is pretty good. how they hit all the important scenes. Now we'll go. We picked these two games because the juxtaposition of these two games is wild. Like the themes and stuff of this second game, the characters of Mafia 1 would not understand in any kind of way. As Mafia 1's in the 30s, Boyfriend Dungeon's very, very 2022. You know, it's very, very modern of how Boyfriend Dungeon handles and does things. Oh, I said the name of the game. Whoops.
You said it 3 times.
I said it 3 times. Anyway, so now you know what the game is, but I'll let Blake go and introduce the next game.
The game we'll be talking about is called Boyfriend Dungeon. Xbox and Switch only, August 11th, 2021. Now, it's published and developed by Kit Fox Games. Kit Fox Games is based out of Montreal, Canada, and has been around since June 2013, and is just 8 people still.
Wow, it's a small team.
I think they were a little bit early on, and now they're 8, but I think they've been 8 the majority of their time.
Yeah, you can tell by you'll talk about the other games. You can tell kind of by the scale of this game, maybe that it was kind of a smaller team. The size of this game.
Oh yeah. Now Kit Fox, they've made 6 games total. There is this game, of course. And then they have a roguelike RPG called Shattered Plane, a action RPG called Moon Hunters. Now, this one I'm actually relatively interested in it, and I will probably play it on my own after it and come back later, but it's a Switch exclusive as well, called Shrouded Isle, and it is more of a management sim, but you are in charge of 5 families in a Lovecraftian themed horror thing going on.
I remember you talking about it. Have you looked it up yet?
I haven't yet. I'm going to soon. But you're in charge of 5 families, and at the end of each, I think it's like each month or each new moon or whatever, one of the family members, and depending on how you've managed them, someone has to be sacrificed to the elder god. And depending on who you sacrifice, it gives, and their importance in the family, gives more favor and influence to that family and takes from another. And by the end of it, I think there's just one family to rule them all. I don't know, but it sounds really cool. I don't know what it looks like. I just read it and I'm like, I gotta play this game. Hopefully, chances are it'll probably be sprite based and I'll be sad because it won't look that cool. But
yeah. I'll look it up. What's it called?
It's called Shrouded Isle. And besides that one, there is a there's a game called Lucifer Within Us. You take charge, I think it was like 2 or 3 different characters, and you have to solve a non-linear mystery. Well, it's like 3 separate people from 3 different points in time. You have to combine all their knowledge and figure out this mystery / murder that happened. And it seems pretty cool. Also, the one last thing they did, which is kind of weird, it was a Mixer exclusive. I'm not entirely sure what Mixer is.
Mixer was like the Xbox's
answer to Twitch, right?
But they like spent millions of dollars buying Ninja's exclusivity.
Yeah.
And then closed Mixer. Like, it was like, what are y'all doing?
Because you're dumb. But anyway, it was a Mixer exclusive called Bad Cupid. And it was, how do you call it? AI procedurally generated characters. And then these characters would go on a date. And then you, as the crowd watching Mixer, would vote if you think that they should continue to date or break up. It was an AI-generated reality TV show where you voted on the couple staying together or not.
This Shrouded Isle looks weird.
It looks weird. It's not pixel graphics.
No, it's just like it's kind of hard to explain. You have to look at it later. It's kind of hard to explain what it looks like. It's not like it's just screens of dialogue and making choices on this stuff. It looks very, very strange.
I mean, it could be a visual novel.
Kind of.
I'll look into. There's a couple of things on the Switch.
It's its own distinct art style. It doesn't look anything like Boyfriend Dungeon.
That's good.
It looks nothing like this.
The good news is none of their games.
It looks really dark. I'm kind of interested in seeing this.
The good news is like none of their games actually do look alike, which is I think kind of cool. It speaks real well to the
art team,
to the company. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's we said earlier. Actually, I don't know if we did or not. Boyfriend Dungeon, based off the title, is a dungeon crawler. It's an action. We say action RPG because you level up.
It's action RPG. Yeah.
Action RPG, dungeon crawling, urban fantasy dating sim. That's also a visual novel spliced in there.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
When you're doing, it's a visual novel dating sim.
Yeah.
Whew, it's got a lot of stuff shoved in there.
Yeah. Leading off, we like I think a lot of folks they expected to be more. There's only 2 dungeons.
Yeah.
They are procedurally generated when you go into them, but there's only 2.
Yeah, there's only the 2. Yeah.
You're making a face because they are random when you go into them.
No, they're the same pattern, ain't they? Floor 1, floor 2, because each one only has a distinct number of floors. So I think each floor is
every floor when you go into it looks different. You run the dungeons multiple times. Every time you go in, the floors are the events are the same. Like the events trigger sort of in the same like the boss's trigger, but like the actual events within and the items, all that stuff is random. It's all random.
I guess you're right. Yeah, it just seems.
How boring would it be running the two identical dungeons over and over again? Like it randomizes.
Well, they're so similar that.
Yeah, but it randomizes them to make sure you don't do the same thing, exactly the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, I guess.
Anyway,
you take over.
I kind of forgot what we're saying.
Oh, well, I talked about the type of game, and you can talk about graphics or whatever.
Oh, I do. Yeah, graphics. I do like what do you call it? This is just cartoony art. Like it looks kind of not anime, but like how would you explain it? It's just cartoon art, not Saturday morning cartoon. It just looks like
it's. We'll say it is like high end American animation.
Yeah, because they don't look. They're not. Nobody's exaggerated. Nobody has exaggerated features or anything like that. They just look like people. They have different flares and color flares and stuff like that. They all got like a certain colors that kind of pop. That make them
more stand out.
More stand out to what each person looks like.
And I'd say not like Saturday morning cartoon, like Saturday night cartoon, something you'd watch on like Toonami.
Maybe.
It's it's definitely Americans trying to make anime is what it looks like.
Yeah, and some of the other like some of the menus and some of the splash screens and the loading screens and stuff flying around. Sometimes I get the feeling they were slightly influenced by the way Persona 5 maybe. The way things splash
the release date definitely after. So
this came out way after. I'm just saying, but it kind of seems like there's a bit of a Persona influence here when it comes to like flashiness and what they're trying to do. I don't think it's as flashy or as good looking maybe as Persona 5, but there's clear. I think there's clear influence there. The what do you call it? The crux of this game, is that the right word? I just can't find words.
I think crux is a good one.
You just kind of accept it. In this town, people have been random folks can randomly have the ability to turn into weapons. They all turn into different kinds of bladed weapons, and everybody's just like, yeah, that just happens now, and everybody's just kind of okay with it.
Well, I think that's the urban fantasy setting.
Urban fantasy stuff.
I think it's a known thing in the world that people can. Like, in my head, I was like, oh. It's just. It's funny that the last TV show I talked about with Soul Eater had people who could turn into weapons, and they just lived harmoniously in the same universe. If only we
planned this podcast better.
If only we did too. But that's kind of what it is. It's just a known thing. You have wielders, and then you have weapons.
Yeah,
and that's,
wielders pretty much any loser who can't turn into a weapon.
Well, I think
basically there's nothing special about you that makes you a wielder. As anybody can just pick up. Now it's very because of the tone of this game, it's very sometimes personal and sexual in a way to wield somebody. Yeah. We'll get more into that as it goes along. But each time you meet one of the characters who can turn into a weapon or vice versa from a weapon back into a person, a lot of them are strung along in the dungeons for some reason. There's story reasons why they're kind of lost in the dungeon. They do these flashy transformation animations, which you only get to see one time. I wish you could kind of view them outside, or you got to see them more often. These really, really flashy, great-looking animations, which I wrote in my notes, reminded me of, remember that really cool animation, that opening, the splash animation of when we played Haven?
Yes.
The way that looked. These animations kind of looked a lot like that same style that Haven was using. Now, is there a way to find out if it was the same person?
I don't think so, but I think...
What are the odds? But I just don't know. But it had a very similar kind of look and kind of just like flair to it than that Haven video had.
I think that has a lot to do with probably, I'd say, a group of 25 to 35-year-olds who were raised on anime in America, and they had heavy influence.
Maybe, but...
Well, technically, I say America, but this is a Canadian company.
Exactly.
So...
I mean, they could have American influences.
Yeah, or Canadian. Or Japanese,
or whatever.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. But I don't know. But you liked them too, right?
I thought they
all looked really.
I do
cool.
wish that I could review them and kind of like, oh, that was really cool. Or like see anything they hidden.
It's not really, there's nothing hidden in them, I don't think. But it's just kind of, they clearly put some good work and thought into them, and you only get to see each of them one time.
Yeah, I don't see, because you have a bedroom. Why can't you just have a DVD player with?
Or click on your phone and view them, because you get the game's really phone focused.
Yeah.
It's a modern, like I said, 2022, very phone focused thing.
Now, like I said earlier, your main character is on. It's real. Like I said, it all feels like an anime or a bad movie.
Yeah.
Because your main character is on summer vacation in this make-believe, essentially California area. I'm not even sure where you're at. Your mom sends you there to hang out with your cousin, and your mom really hopes that you go on your first date.
First date ever. Speaking of your mom, I left mine on, okay? You have an option to turn off text messages from your mom.
It's strange, but it's one of those things where I guess they want the experience to be more personal, because some people do have a mom, some people don't.
I think it was a lot of that, and when you turn the game on too, there is a warning that there is portrayals of various relationship types, like from stalkers and forceful people and stuff like that. It's worded differently. I wish I had it pulled up, but there is a thing that it's like a warning I haven't seen in a game before, because you run through so many different personality types in this game that it kind of gives you a warning, because all people are different, and some I don't know how to explain it, but there's like a social kind of, I guess that's right, a social warning. No, did you find it?
I got it right here. Let me pull it up. Okay. This story, warning, this story involves exposure to unwanted advances, stalking, other forms of emotional manipulation. So please play with care and take breaks as needed, and and get help if you need it.
They could help, yeah. So they're kind of really for about that. And I guess the mom thing comes along with that. So some people have, maybe your mom's passed away, or you have a bad relationship with your mom, and you don't want to see those texts popping through. It's just like a really
Here's the other one for your mom. It says, this game sometimes sends you supportive text messages from a character named Mom. Is that okay? You can answer no, and we will disable these messages. So I wonder if some people have a bad relationship with their mom.
Or your mom could be dead.
At the very least, I kind of wish, like, if they went that far, they should have said we can change the character to mom or dad or something. They could have added. Exactly. If they went this far, they could have went the step further for added dad. Mom or dad,
yeah. It's just a name swap.
Yeah, because I don't think it would have made much difference. But I think that would have made it more personal. For if they went that far, why not go the extra step? But no big deal. I'm not like.
Very interesting stuff in there. So your cousin, which I didn't like the cousin character.
No, I don't even remember his name, but he was a kind of a d-bag.
Well, he wasn't like written as a d-bag. He just to us, he kind of comes off, and that's where we're gonna get into. Like, we're not. We'll stay up the front. Like, we're both like. There's lots of portrayals of there's gay, transgender, non-binary. This game covers all of that. Like, we're fully supportive of all that stuff, but we don't have the queer what do you call it,
the knowledge.
I don't talk about this correctly, but it's all throughout this game. So maybe some of these scenes just didn't like make as much sense to us. If that's the right way to say it. I don't know. There's like weird things. I'll get to like one of my main gripes with the game here in just a moment. But your cousin is here to basically just force people onto you every turn. Like everywhere you go, he's just like throwing you at people, which is kind of uncomfortable. That's what I kind of found uncomfortable about it. But I'll go ahead and say it now, which will might lead to my least favorite character too. Is that a lot of what I didn't like about this game? Now I liked a lot of the characters. I love the art style. I kind of like the idea of the dungeons, which we'll get into those. Is that everybody in this game is extremely forward. Mm-hmm. Extremely forward. And I don't. Maybe we're just two older guys, but maybe younger, maybe teenagers and people in their 20s are more forward nowadays. Maybe like we're on mid 30s. Maybe it's not like that, and but like everybody in this is on. It's all the text message. You have text messages and you have face-to-face conversations, but both like they talk the same way, and they're incredibly forward with their feelings, like they're like what they want to do, and like it's like always extremely. I found it uncomfortable to a point how forward everybody was.
Yeah,
and I'm not torn like I was hitting on everybody. Like I didn't like my character. I was like everybody's awesome. Like my favorite character, which I'll talk about here in a bit. My favorite character was a guy, and he's the guy I took to the end. He's the guy I like the most. The personality I like the most.
Yeah.
I have no problems with a gay character or anything like that because it's just it is. But it's just the forwardness of everybody. And maybe the character I even liked the most, maybe I liked him the most because he was more reserved.
He was the least forward.
You already know what I'm talking about. We'll get to him in a second. But the character I liked the least, which he's actually not even one of your weapons, he actually turns out to be a relatively like the bad guy for the later parts of the game, is Eric.
Yeah, he's
and
gross.
I think he's written that you hate Eric immediately. The first time you meet Eric, you hate him, and then he consecutively gets worse and worse the more you talk to him. He's kind of like the stalker type, and he's kind of the one who puts advances for you that you don't want. And I actively said mean things to him the entire game, but he don't care because his personality type, he just kept pushing forward, and he would show up in places where people didn't want it. Like nobody liked Eric,
Oh yeah, no one.
This story turns out to be kind of sad in the end, a little bit, which we won't spoil too much about that. I wouldn't call it redemptive, but he does some crazy stuff at the end. But I feel like, did you agree that he was probably even written that way on purpose, probably the worst character?
Oh yeah,
very.
He was 100% awful.
Yeah, we don't have time really to go into every single.
But we can
person.
At least
do you have their name and which weapon they are?
Well, I don't have their name. I just have their weapon because even the game refers to most of them as their. No, actually, they all have their type. I'm just going to name. I just have the weapon type down because that's in the achievements because I couldn't remember all their names, and even on the Wikipedia page, doesn't have their names. It just has the weapon they are. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. Okay, we go.
The only one I really remember is the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I'll go kind of bounce through them real quick. You start with an estoc, which is a rapier. And then you quickly get a scimitar, a dagger, a lightsaber,
laser sword.
The laser sword. Laser saber is what they call in the game. A laser saber, my bad. And then you get a glaive, some bladed knuckles, and a scythe.
Yeah. The glaive is strange because it's really a pole arm.
Well, technically, that's what a glaive is.
Yeah, it is, but people might, because
sometimes
the glaive is thrown around a lot, because the thing that Blade the vampire hunter, that bladed thing he throws, people call that a glaive. I think some folks, maybe it's called a swallow. The things that
it's dual bladed.
Surge uses in Chrono Cross. Some people call that a glaive. I don't know. It's kind of glaive is a strange term, but they call him the glaive in the game.
I think it's a lot to do with maybe a projectile like spear. Yeah. I don't know.
I did like throwing that spear.
It was powerful. Yeah. And it did damage forward and returning.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool. Well, we can kind of.
You said glaive and what else?
I said glaive and then bladed knuckles, Wolverine style, and a scythe.
So say in my notes, see if you agree that Isaac, the estoc, seem to be far and above stronger than everybody else. It's very, very, very strange. So the weapons have there's an affection level which doesn't affect their strength. The weapon's strength is affected by your character level. Is how you get stronger. So all of them, all the weapons are of the same. They're all technically the same power level, based off your character level, but they have different attack and skills based off your affection with them.
Which I wish I had paid attention to that, because I didn't even realize, because there's achievements in the game for getting everyone max level and stuff like that. But I went through the game, this character leveled up. All right, as soon as I come back into the dungeon, I'll get this character and that, and but the strategy for the game is literally, because I didn't realize it was based on your level. So it's the best thing to do is to pick one, kind of, find one, whichever one, because you get all of them fairly quickly. I think before the end of the first dungeon, you have most of, if not all.
Probably. You keep meeting them on various floors. Is it all in the first dungeon?
I think so.
Because Rowan can be, we'll talk about Rowan. Rowan can be, he's a bit stranger.
Yeah.
I don't know about the cat either, but Rowan is, because Rowan you can flat out just miss.
Yeah.
But
most of the 7, at least 5 can be found in the first dungeon before the first dungeon's over with.
Yeah. Well, you can be playing it multiple times.
Yeah. So pick one and
I assume they're locked to a certain floor. Like on this floor, you find this weapon.
Yeah. Story based. And so the rule of thumb, I wish I'd read later. I'll let you guys know now, so you don't make the same mistake I did. Is pick one, max it out first. For anything, whatever style you're more comfortable with, or when you're going to go fight the boss, use your weapon. And then once you're done near the end of the game, you can take it through the second dungeon where there's more experience and stuff, and you kind of plow through it a lot faster than I did. Like, my gameplay was only about 10 hours, but mine
was 10 hours as well. What we didn't know is, like, we kind of did the thing where we kind of kept everybody at the same level.
Yeah. But
what happens is the first person you max out gives you an item that doubles your affection experience. Is affection?
Affection, intimacy, something like that.
Intimacy, whatever. There's a love experience. The first person you max out gives you an item that doubles all your experience gains. And we're like, oh, that's at the end of the game when I got that item.
Exactly.
I was literally... and I think even I read some, like, after the fact, everybody was like, oh, max out one weapon first, and then it makes maxing out the other ones much easier. We might have, like, the average gameplay time on TA for completion for this, as I've lost it now. The average playtime they have on TA is 6 to 8 hours. We're 10 hours.
Yeah.
We might have been 6 to 8 if we maxed out one character first and then came back and did the rest of them. But I kind of liked the way I played. I don't know. Maybe because I was actually really enjoying it.
Yeah, like I said, say what you will, the gameplay, like going around the dungeons and the combat, like every weapon was so different, and leveling up, there wasn't a bad ability. They were all fine. It just depends on
various things. Like when I wrote my note, I wrote Isaac is the strongest. He's the S stock. I don't know why he was just hitting harder. Everybody's the same.
I think maybe he was more focused. Everyone else seems to be kind of spread. Like he's piercing and straight.
Yeah. So then I wrote right beside that. I wrote Rowan seems weak. Like he's the scythe. And he has a weird ability that he has to like stack up these charges to get more power.
Mm-hmm. I hardly ever played with him.
We had to level him up probably, but
by the time I got to him, I had the weapon and I had all these gifts to give him. So I just literally walk through the dungeon, have a talk scene at one of the meeting places, give him a gift, and then walk out the dungeon. Like I never did more than one floor with him.
So you didn't really get any experience with him.
Because I also got him so late in the game because I was like, I didn't realize I was missing.
You realize you're missing the character. Yeah, it's kind of... So he have to, like... he lives in a mansion outside of... Well, he or she, I'm not sure. Is he one of the... Is he non-binary? I don't remember.
Yeah, he and Glaive are...
They or whatever.
They're...
Yeah, them and Glaive are non-binary, I guess. You find them... they're like... If you don't go look, there's a mansion right outside of town. If you don't go out there, which you didn't know. I walked around one time. I got lucky. Yeah. You didn't walk. I was talking about Rowan one night, and Blake's like, "Who's Rowan?" I was like, "The person up in the mansion." You're like, "What?
What mansion?
What mansion?" So he goes and he got Rowan like way out. He was like a ways into the game, so he had to go get him.
I was ready to fight the final boss, and that's why I was trying to figure out what is happening. Why don't I have this character?
Yeah, so you had to do that entire storyline.
But it went very fast because the amount of items, gifts that I had left over, I could just give them all of their favorites and do that. I maxed it very quickly.
So you probably didn't get the best experience with Rowan, probably because you had to like shotgun it. That's why like mine were all spread out. I was doing a certain like that. I liked it like getting part of somebody's story and then jumping like and like the time away from somebody kind of it felt right to go do somebody else and then come back. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody seems to somewhat fall in love with your character, which I kind of find
Instantly.
sort of somewhat instantly. They all have different endings though, which they're not all tied to like loving you forever, which is pretty good.
Well, because you can go through and like, because your choices are no matter what choices are flirty, in some way, shape, or form. But by the end, one of your final things are like, do you want to keep hanging out and dating? And you're like, no. You can just shut them down, and they go, oh, well, you're in my heart forever. I'm like, bye. We can still be friends, but I don't want to date you. So, but like, yeah.
There was one character I think we both agree was completely unnecessary. The cat.
Oh God, yeah. The platonic relationship with that cat was just pointless. I think it was a late game ad, and I know 100% that Rowan was a late game ad because this game was kickstarted. Mm-hmm. Now, bear with me. This game was kickstarted and had almost 7,000 backers.
Nice.
And its original goal was, I think, it was like $70,000. And their final end product was $272,000. Or, yeah. And so they kept adding goals. And some of the later goals, like the last goal they added was at 200,000. So they hit the final goal, and they're like, we're not adding any more goals. Mm-hmm. But some of those goals were to do voice acting, were to include a soundtrack, were to include animation intros for each character, because those weren't original there; those were added after.
So you think they would have pushed them a little harder?
Yeah, exactly. But one of the things they did though, which I think you'll find this cool because we've heard about this game from another podcast, but Rowan himself was a late game ad when he was one of the last things added. But he was actually entirely designed by the developer for Hatoful Boyfriend.
Oh, really?
Which is why he had the bird.
That's
as an homage to themselves.
That's really cool. Like, so he designed that character for them.
Mm-hmm.
That's very cool. That's a really cool nod.
Yeah.
We didn't play Hatoful Boyfriend, but we've heard about Hatoful Boyfriend on How Did This Get Played, or it's called Get Played now. We mentioned it in the podcast before. It's one of our my favorite other gaming podcasts. And I think even I haven't listened to the episode yet, but I think the other podcast of the Kane and Rents did Hatoful Boyfriend as well. So I feel like it's like, do we need to play this game? A bird dating sim.
Yeah.
Very strange, but that's cool. That's really cool though.
I thought that was pretty cool and worth mentioning. And
you talk about the adding voice acting. It's kind of that weird where like they'll say a sentence and then the next sentence isn't voiced.
What do you call that?
How they chose which lines to.
It's like bit voice, chip voice, or something. I forget.
I don't know the term for it, but like they'll start a conversation and they'll say like a line or two, and then then they won't say two lines, and then they'll come back and say another line, and they won't say the next line. It's kind of jarring in a way. I kind of wish they would have went all or nothing almost to a certain point.
Yeah,
you know, they all got pretty good, distinct voices, and their voices all fit their characters.
Oh yeah,
really well. I think they did a good job on the casting for these characters. I wish they had the money and the time to fully voice the whole cast like this. Because a game like this with a dating sim with just as much talking as there is, to have a fully voiced just makes sense.
Yeah, and now one kind of cool thing too is we didn't get to play this, but basically on the anniversary of the game, like I said, it came out in August 11th, 2021, then August 17th, 2022. I didn't see it was released on console yet, but I think they're slowly rolling it out. But it is available on Steam and in the Epic Store. There is a free DLC patch that includes a whole extra dungeon, which has its own extra little monster shop inside, as well as 3 other love interests.
Wow, that's a lot.
One of them you actually got to meet in the main game, and the other 2 were 100% new.
Yeah, the one guy you meet kind of offhandedly, I guess, in the main game. You never see him again.
Well, because it says here too that they had to cut some content in order to let the game come out on its due date, and they pushed its due date back almost a whole. It was supposed to come out in September 2020, so they pumped it back to 11 months. And it says for the developers' mental health. So,
yeah, I mean, speech straight. We're a small company,
exactly.
And then, well, you got to think the small. It's a story based from like small people giving a whole bunch of money, and the stress piles on. We got to deliver with all this money, you know.
So they cut some of that content to. They pushed it back 11 months, cut the content, and then a year after that, they released all the cut content as a free DLC plus new things.
Very cool.
So I think that's pretty cool that they're delivering. And I was like, kind of like, I want to play the DLC.
Yeah. If it comes out, if we get patched in with new achievements, we might give it a try if we can.
Now, the only thing that kind of sucks for me is I was unable to get the 1K due to a stupid in-game. I couldn't beat that stupid flutter bug.
Oh, that's right. You didn't do that.
I could not do that to save my
It's dumb.
life.
It's a bad thing to put to a game. So at one point, you find you're given or something like that.
You find like a retro console.
A retro console gaming thing. It sits in your bedroom. You can click on it and play this really dumb racing game where you're a little bug and you have to like drive around this track. There's 3 races. You have to win all 3. It's a nightmare. It sucks. I did it in my game. I told Blake when I did it, I was like, I can't help you. I can't do that again.
I couldn't get above 3rd place on easy, and I couldn't even place higher than the last 2 on medium and hard.
Yeah, it's such a weird and dumb thing to put into the. And I'd hate if it was like a stupid Kickstarter goal or some nonsense. I don't know why it's in there.
It sucks. I hate it.
Yeah,
it kept me from getting the 1K.
Yeah, that sucks real bad.
It's awful.
I even told we went online and like on True Achievements and people had some hints and some helpful things. There's no way to cheat it really at all, but there's like little hints I told Blake that I used to kind of beat it, but I didn't want to ever try to do it again. It sucked. I forgot that did cost you the 1K for a game you were otherwise enjoying quite a bit, huh?
Mm-hmm. Now I do want to preface this because me and Drew just talked about this too, that we're open and we're understanding and we're on people's sides of, you know, same sex or whatever. We're an ally. But in order to make the game more inclusive, they do let you pick your gender at the beginning. You're not just a dude. You can be a boy or girl. And then you can choose to date everyone. Because there are gay, there are transgender, non-binary. And for those people out there who's like, there's one girl in the DLC, there's a second girl. You can date.
Yeah, there's one girl in the main game.
Yeah.
There's only one girl in the main game.
I mean,
and she's kind of butch.
A little bit.
I don't know if that's the right word to say, but she's kind of, for a girl, she's kind of manly.
She's not manly aggressive. She is I don't know a better word to say it. She is assertive.
Yeah.
That's the proper way I would say. She is assertive. She knows what she wants and she gets it. She's also like a street tag artist. Yeah. On the run.
I want to get back to the I say it's the worst, like the cat for a minute.
That's one thing, pointless.
The cat is it's weird because like the cat, you don't talk to the cat. The cat you communicate through its owner, and they tell you their name. Either the cat's name is Pocket or the owner's name is Pocket.
The cat's name is Pocket.
The cat's name is Pocket. So you put Pocket in your phone, and you're talking to their owner, and the owner's like, I guess Pocket's running out today. And you're like, okay, I'll go find him.
I see. I hated it. I didn't really care.
But like the only thing I liked about Pocket, did you notice that when you're doing anything with Pocket,
your feet steps.
Well, that's cute too, I guess. When you're using the weapon in the dungeon, your footsteps are little paw prints. But on the outside of the dungeon, the whole soundtrack swaps, and it's the songs, but with cats. It's all cats. It's like the soundtrack is playing through cat meowing and different cat mews and stuff like
really?
that.
I wouldn't even pay attention to that. No.
Yeah, I wonder if I can find that. I'll try to play it here if I can find it. But like the soundtrack swaps, and I either it's brand new songs or it's the soundtrack just transferred over with mews and cat meows and just silliness with cats the whole time you're messing up. That's the best part of it, because I didn't like the weapon.
Yeah.
And I didn't like any of the interactions with Pocket. Pocket's strange, like just fighting another cat and other stuff's going on with Pocket. But like my favorite part was the soundtrack, swapping to weird cat stuff with him.
Speaking of soundtrack, the music was okay. It was it was just there. It was kind of standard music, but your second dungeon is in a club and it plays a song that's mildly catchy. A little like walking through the dark of the dance club. I remember I don't remember the words now, but when I was playing it, I was kind of like
bobbing your head while you're running through the dungeon. Yeah,
to the little club songs. So it was pretty cool. Now we haven't talked about the dungeons a whole lot, but
we need to get in. I mean, so we can't cover all the characters because there's too many of them. We do got to talk about the dungeons and why they're there and what they represent.
Because you have, I don't know what the third dungeon is because I haven't played the DLC, but the 2 dungeons you have available in the game are at a mall and at a club.
Those have no relevance to what they are, though. Weirdly enough, I don't think do they.
They kind of embody some, because how, and this is just a known thing in the world, that when you go to a dunge, which is what the cool kids call dungeons with a J.
That rubbed me the wrong way. The entire game.
Say dungeon.
I can't wait to go dunge. I'm like, I can't wait to not talk to you ever again.
Yeah, leave me alone.
But everybody said it though, so it was like the catchy lingo kids were saying.
The mall, because how they explain it is the monsters that you fight are different for everybody, but they're manifestation of your own fears and insecurities. Mm-hmm. Now, some of the stuff that you fight in there are, it's like what, a record player, a cell phone. I can recognize some of it.
Some of it also kind of, to a certain point, I didn't care.
Yeah.
I was running to the dungeons to get the experience and do the talk scenes within the dungeon. I didn't really care. I mean, granted, it's another layer of the game. Maybe I should have cared more. I didn't care what I was fighting.
Well, some of them are pretty blatant. Like the cell phones had like vampire teeth, because your cell phone sucks the life out of you. It takes your life instead of experiencing life. And then there was like one of them was I could 100% get. It was in the club one, and it was eyeballs, lips, and hands. And you're afraid. I can see like at a club, people's eyes are on me. I'm insecure. I don't like crowds or hands being groped or touched, and lips. Like I don't want someone like kissing me or touching me. And they were all kind of like Some of them were a little more blatant.
Yeah, I don't think they just randomly created random monsters. I think they probably put some thought into it. I just didn't. I was doing so much kill. I mean, I would run through just mashing on attack buttons, killing everything.
Sometimes metaphors are lost on me, especially when I don't understand the metaphor.
But
that's all there is to it. I mean, I was like, "What record player? Afraid of old music? I don't get it."
Yeah, I didn't get that one either.
But I do think it's. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed the game. I thought it was fun.
I did too.
I enjoyed it way more than I thought I was going to. The only thing I wish is that people were a little less forward. Like, if I want a relationship, let me build one. Don't force it on me. That's all.
Yeah, they're all kind of all of them are all kind of forceful.
But at the same time, maybe this can open up your eyes to other points of view. As a male, this doesn't happen to me all the time. But imagine just being a woman jogging and having 15 dudes hit on you, ask for your number. This could be someone's everyday life.
Yeah.
It kind of opens up your mind to, think about some things.
More on the dungeons, I guess. You're kind of just going from floor to floor, killing stuff. You get money, do different, challenge rooms, which is just you fight multiple enemies. There's a hidden store you can activate to buy more stuff. 2 hidden stores, one in each dungeon. There's bosses, and then there's these, I think called hangouts.
Hangout, meeting areas.
You walk up to like an ice cream stand or a statue or a fountain. There's an ice rink, and you click on those with different characters. They all have different interactions, which is kind of cool. They usually have a question or some sort of choice you have to make. If you make the right choice, you get a boost. And
you can usually at the end of that interaction, you can sometimes give them a gift to bolster it.
Yeah, you want to always be watching, because it's as simple as it seems. You kind of always want to be watching where their stats are, because they get a affection boost at the end of a floor too. So if you're say you're 30 or 40 points away from their level, you don't want to give them a gift right now. It's a waste of a gift. Yeah. So you want to wait until the end of the floor. Now, I say that, but if you have that item, is it the same item, the one that lets you...
Whetstone. The
one that lets you... Whetstone. The one that lets you have twice as much experience doesn't also let you build up beyond the level up. Mm-hmm. So if you have that, it might not matter.
It lets it roll
For us, it was a kind of a hard cutoff. So like in between floors, you would get the bonus, and it would say max. So between floors, you just swap to a weapon that doesn't have max, and then go to the next floor. So you're kind of juggling that kind of stuff throughout. So I thought that was a better way to play than with the whetstone kind of just building beyond their normal levels of experience.
Because the game, I totally forgot about this till just now. But kind of a couple things. The dungeon, we said earlier, it is a roguelike, so you are meant to die. So whenever you die, it kind of helps move the game forward and you level up your characters.
You don't have to die.
You don't have to die, but dying is okay. Now, if you beat a floor, you can, certain floors, I think, let you take an elevator to ride out. So that'll also give you, but you get more experience if you take the elevator as opposed to dying. And the other thing is there's an accessibility feature called the God Shield that makes you take half damage.
Mm-hmm. Is it half or less? I don't remember.
I think it's half.
I activated it from the beginning.
You take half damage.
I activated it immediately. Because me and Blake are big babies. We saw accessibility. I activated it immediately.
Well, because one of the things that I did in the game is you take half damage with that God Shield from half damage. Mm-hmm. And so there's a couple of, because you get outfits and stuff and gifts from people, or you can buy them in shops, or completing certain side quests, you get little knick-knack costumes and headdresses.
Yeah, some are just cosmetic, some have little things.
And one of the ones I wore almost the entire game was a crown, and it says you deal double damage, but you take double damage. So with the God Shield on, I was taking base damage, but dealing double damage. So I ran the whole game like that.
Something like that. Maybe that math is accurate.
Yeah, because
But I didn't bother doing that. I just wore the same whatever thing that gave me more drinks. Drinks are how you
heal. Your boba teas or bubble teas.
It lets you choose what you're drinking. It has no impact on the game, but it lets you choose which drink your item is. You can drink.
It was silly.
And you have the drinks, of course, to heal, and then you have these magazines. Is it magazines?
There were cards or magazines.
They're magazines, weren't they? Magazines are like these special attacks. There's like 8 of them. They all have different things or different like
for each. Oh yeah, because it lets you summon the bugs, do the cast fireball, and
throw a fireball, and do it had various effects. Some were better than others.
Turrets.
Something the turret was pretty good. Like 8 or something of those. So those are kind of cool. You got to collect those throughout the game too. That's another thing to add to the combat. So you had that. You had your weapons, and you had the healing. And you had your weapons. All as you said earlier, as you level them up through affection, they have different. Each level has a new skill, and some of them had separate. Like you had a choice between 2.
Every even. No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think every even level
then,
had
like you choose one skill or the other, but it was kind of strange because there's like this one thing, like this gym on the outside. I thought there'd be more to it on the world map. You go to this gym, and all the gym is for is changing which skill you selected back and forth.
It's a little silly.
I was like, you think that'd just be on your phone or something like that, but you had to like go to the gym and just.
Well, you go to the gym and you worked out with that weapon, quote unquote, with that.
Yeah, and it's really just there to change which skill, because you can really swap the skills willy nilly back and forth if you want to, depending on, because some kind of pair together and kind of like and they stack and do cool things. Do you have more to say about the dungeons?
I'm trying to think. Not really. I mean, I think we did a pretty decent job covering it.
So you don't get your experience for your main character. He only gets experience. He or she, whatever, gets experience from fighting monsters and other various finding treasures. Opening safes have cool items in them and blueprints and stuff. All this experience just piles up until you die or leave the dungeon. So pretty much what you end up doing in the beginning of the game is you just start playing, and then you get to a floor where everything's just too strong. You end up just getting slaughtered. You walk to an enemy and it just kills you in one hit. You're like, well, this game sucks. This is too hard. But then when you go to the menu, the post dungeon menu, you level up like 5 or 6 times.
Oh yeah.
It goes boom, 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 and you start leveling up really fast. and then you run back through the dungeon and you fly past that part because you just ran into a wall of strength. You just had needed to level up. So I kind of wish you leveled up after every floor, but then again, I like the big chunk.
I like the big experience dump. Is when you leave or die.
Yeah.
It just makes it more rewarding for finishing the level, or like oh man, it takes away the sadness. Like I died. Oh wow, look how it kind of takes away the sadness. It's a good buffer.
Yeah, I liked it quite a bit. Is there anything? I mean, I said my favorite character was Isaac. He's who I took through the ending. Is there a particular? Do you have a favorite character as well, or is that the same person you took through the ending?
I took Dagger because, I like girls.
That's it.
That's really it. I took Dagger. She was fast. She dealt damage.
Yeah.
But I think my probably one of my favorite weapons, honestly, to use were two of them. Were either the scimitar or the laser saber. Because the laser saber, the more you level up, had a chain lightning thing.
That's very cool. I like chain lightning.
Dope.
Yeah. It looks
and
cool
the scimitar had a cool thing that was like. Because he dealt, he had like these little spikes, and he dealt bleed damage. One of the things was when you finish the combo, it did like a little, like shockwave of bleed damage. And it would. The cool thing about that is, because it was a full 360-degree shockwave out, and it would hit projectiles that were coming at your back and stuff as like a shield, as long as you activated it. So it was kind of cool. I like that, and the bleed hurt everything. The televisions, the record players, the cell phones,
they all bleed out. Yeah, they all bleed out. It's just RPG stuff.
But probably the glaive was probably one of the more fun.
Yeah, like throwing it, so like throwing it and having it come back is pretty cool. And it's kind of the first has a pretty good sweep to it because you are fighting large numbers of things like gang up on you. So S stock maybe wasn't great for that, but it's kind of more fine point. But as you kind of run around enemies, you can really pinpoint those strikes. I just kind of like.
I think maybe why it was so powerful because it didn't sweep. It was
straight
piercing, kind of thrusting damage, whatever you want to call it.
So you picked her just because she was the only girl.
Yeah, because I'm horrible.
But is she? But did you generally like her the most?
Well, she was fun. I didn't mind her. She was a good character in general.
Yeah, I think that's why I ended up liking Isaac. As I mentioned earlier, Isaac is maybe the one who's the least. He's more reserved.
Yeah, I didn't.
He's more
really
he's not uptight, but he's more like he's business, and he's kind of like he's not pushing on you, and he's just kind of. I just liked his personality
because the scimitar, that was way too forward and aggressive.
Yeah.
The glaive was more of like a little brother situation going on. It was uncomfortable. It was like Oni-chan. It wasn't
like that.
It could have been.
It wasn't Japanese, but what was her Sawyer.
Sawyer was his name.
Sawyer's the glaive.
Its name. Their name.
Their name. He's not.
Sorry.
They are non-binary. It's hard to say.
Trying to be.
Yeah, they are non-binary. I didn't like that one because of their age more than anything.
Well, they said they were in college, but I'm like,
they just seemed too young. I didn't push that relationship too hard because they just seemed they were definitely the youngest person. Yeah. By a good margin, it felt like and some of them maybe seemed like I say that the scimitar. What was his name? Should roll these down, but he seemed older than everybody. But I don't want to spoil. There's a story reason why he seems older than everybody. There's him, but I don't know. I think Sawyer was just I was just put off by the age thing. I just thought he was just too young to be palling around, and they don't push that relationship too hard. Honestly, in the game, like Sawyer's just like thinks it's fun to hang around you and stuff like that, and then go and cool and do fun things together. So that's not so bad.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to just not be stupid and pull up a list of all the characters. Okay. So, just so we can clear, we've said some names.
We could clarify now.
Yeah, we have Isaac, who is the rapier. Sunder, who is the scimitar.
Sunder. Valeria,
who is the dagger. Sawyer is the glaive. Seven is the laser saber. Rowan is the scythe. Pocket is the knuckles.
Okay.
And then for the DLC, if anyone cares, Jonah is an axe.
Jonah's who you meet in the main game.
Leah is a hammer. And Holmes is a whip.
I can see why there's a lot of focus on blades, and a lot of people talk about blades in the main game. I can see why this hammer and whip would have been like maybe cut and added later, because there's a lot of focus on everything being bladed,
which is strange.
Like honing my blade, and there's a lot of talk of blades in the main game.
But whew, just so we're aware.
Should have found that before we did all the talking. We've kind of glanced on everybody just about except for Seven, I guess, the laser saber. He's a famous like pop musician.
He's a K-pop musician.
Yeah, kind of a K-pop musician with his partner. His whole story is about he's kind of funny. He's kind of annoying at first, but he kind of lessens the more you talk to him. He's very, very kind of, is he full of himself, or he's been famous for too long?
He's been famous for too long.
Yeah.
Because what happened, one thing about his storyline, which is what kind of endeared him to me a little bit, was he's trying to go solo. He thinks it's time. They've been in the band for too long. But he says, because you go out to lunch on one of your lunch dates, and he's like, no, I can't eat. All I can have is water. And you're like, well, why? You doing a cleanse or something? He's like, well, my producer, I have a contract. If I gain 2 pounds, they can fire me.
That's crazy. That's real life, though.
And I was like, what? He's like, yeah. My contract says that I can lose up to 4, but I can't gain any more than 2 pounds, or they can fire me legally.
Yeah, the label can drop you or whatever.
Yeah, and I was like, holy crap, that sucks. And I was like, that sucks to be,
He just does seem like exhausted.
Yeah,
most of the time.
He's just dead inside because it's killing him.
People come up to you and you're like, oh my God, are you Seven from Blade? The group's called Blade Generation. Are you Seven? Blah, blah, blah. It's like, yes, that's me. I'll sign this.
And you can try and be like, no, he's not. You
can step in sometimes and stuff like that, yeah.
I don't really have a whole lot more to talk about with him, though, because I enjoyed most of them.
Yeah.
And his laser saber, the chain lightning, was cool.
Yeah.
Do you have?
I don't know. I think we've dabbled a little bit everybody at this point. I mean, spoilers are like, I think Sunder has an interesting little, little twist in terms of what's going on with him. I did not see that coming at all.
That was out of.
And there's a good little. His reveal has some other jokes attached to like what it means in the universe of this game. Kind of leads to other jokes and other. Like, I don't know. There could be another game in this series.
I would definitely play another game. If they're like Boyfriend Dungeon 2, I would definitely play it.
Yeah, I would too, for sure. I mean, is that enough? Is that enough? I mean,
that's enough, because I'm trying to avoid as much story that there is or isn't.
Yeah, we didn't go into like what's happening. Like when you find all the weapons, they're chipped and they've kind of lost a bit of their memories. Mm-hmm. You kind of help them recover. You kind of eventually you find out why they were chipped and what's happening. That's a really cool, like what this other character, what the bad guy for this game was doing is super messed up.
Oh God, yes.
Like it's crazy messed up and super dark. And I was like, that's pretty cool. I don't want to spoil that for anybody. Yeah. Like the end game of this is just like. This is wild. Like what he was doing, it's unprecedented in the world of what's happening. Like he's the first guy to do what he's doing, and it's like way wrong.
It's incredibly wrong in all aspects.
So that's pretty cool. I don't want to spoil that, and then that's really the main thing, because there is like a sort of he's the bad guy, but he's not related to the other dungeons. It is kind of like. You kind of are hinted at him throughout, and then like partly some of the stories in the second dungeon, but he's not related to the dungeon. He's his own story that's happening in between, and then like after the second dungeon, we thought there'd be a third dungeon. There's not. It all kind of focuses on him and what he's doing, and then you just fight the last boss.
Technically there was a third dungeon, but they had to cut content to focus on that story.
Yeah, I wonder if the other DLC like falls into the main game, or if it counts. I don't know how they would have added it in.
We'll figure it out
at some point. So we don't want to spoil down to that, because it's pretty cool.
You ready to move on to our end?
Yeah, I mean, we could wrap it up here. This was, we're trying to say we're not the Game Pass podcast. We did our best to put a different game on here, but Boyfriend Dungeon was on Game Pass. It's now off Game Pass. As of the recording of this podcast, it's on sale for $14.99, normally $20.
I'd say both are a fair price.
Both are probably good. I think we get like what's it called? Biased opinions. Sometimes if a game we don't like ain't worth as much money, but a game we did like, Boyfriend Dungeon's worth $15 to $20.
$20 seems a little much, because like I said, I was able to
$14.99 is probably perfect.
Yeah, $14.99 would be perfect, because I was able to get the 1K immediately. We had a guide and all this other stuff, so we knew exactly what gifts to give people.
There wasn't a. We had to find it. There wasn't a TA guide at the time. I don't think there is now yet either.
More than anything, we found the gift giving guide, and it seemed to be
Gift giving guide is
priority.
important to give people the right gifts. You got to give them the gifts they like. Even a lot of those guides. I went to 2 different guides, and a lot of those were wrong. Sometimes they were just flat out wrong.
Yeah.
Which is people just trying to doing their best to gather data, but you do want to give people gifts they like. You also want to. Is it this game? You want to give somebody a gift they turn down?
Yeah, you get one gift that's awful.
Yeah, they turn it down. It gives you an achievement, but I did get all the achievements. I did do all that fun stuff. But yeah, $14.99 as of the recording of this podcast. You'll be hearing the podcast a week after it comes out. But
it's a $5 difference. But I think I think $14.99 is the perfect price, especially if they have that free DLC coming out. I think that's perfect.
You're talking to 10. I'd add another 4 or 5 hours maybe. A whole extra dungeon, 3 extra love interests. I mean, you're talking now. You're getting up to a 10 to 15 hour experience. Now you're getting a 10 to 15 hour experience that's genuinely pretty good and
entertaining.
Mostly well written and entertaining. And the cast of characters it's just.
And I mean, if the rest of the game, I'm sure those 3 characters will have their own voice actor, will have their own.
Well, Jonah had an opening scene.
He did.
Well, of course, you meet him one time and never see him again. I wonder if they should have cut that out if they're going to add him in later.
Yeah, maybe, or maybe
it's weird to talk to him one time and him have a voice and him also talk about being an axe and then you never see him again.
There's a throwaway line where he's like, "Oh, he went to go to a surfing tournament."
Okay, okay.
Yeah, like I think they added that in there to be like, "Oh, well, let's just cut this, and save it for later."
Okay, but anyway, we both thoroughly really enjoyed it way more than we anticipated. Honestly, yeah.
Very much.
But that's it. That's Boyfriend Dungeon. Let us know if you played it. We'd like to hear about your least favorite characters or any of your favorite lines or anything about the game that you liked like we did. And now the last thing we got, of course, is Blake's going to really quickly try to sell you on a movie. This is where he tries to sell you on a movie without spoiling the movie, which is very different from his other podcast, Action, the movie podcast, where him and Steve just talk about a movie in its entirety, hoping you've already watched that movie. So this is a little different. If you're familiar with the podcast, you know what this is. So let's listen to Blake here try to sell you on this movie before we wrap things up.
All right, the movie that I'm going to be trying to sell you on came out in 2013 and is called Jugface. It is a horror movie that is written and directed by Chad Crawford Kinkle. Now, he himself is he's new to the movie making game. There's only 3. He's only written and directed 3 things thus far. He has a short called Organ Grinder, which is about a woman that lures people back to her hotel with her friend, and they kill people and harvest their organs.
Okay, we've seen his other 2 movies. Where can we see this? This sounds awesome.
It's a short. I don't know.
Oh man, I wonder if it's on one of his, because he's put out some Blu-rays and stuff. I wonder if it's on one of his Blu-rays.
It seems like it'd be pretty fun.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, and then we have Jugface, but then his most recent one is called Dementor.
Yeah,
and that came out 2019. As well as writing and directing all these, he was actually the camera operator for Dementor as well.
Yeah. Do we want to mention we have a little, I'll say insider stuff. Our friend Jeff Wedding, who we've had on the podcast, is a writer director as well. Has worked with Chad. Jeff was DP, director of photography on Dementor, and Jeff and his wife just went with Chad, and they just filmed another movie
up in Alaska,
which we have a couple of details for. We don't want to spoil too much about that, but we're very excited to see.
I think it's called The Tunnel.
I'm not sure if it has a name or anything
Question
yet.
mark.
But Jeff told us a little bit about what they were doing up there and kind of the gist of what that movie's going to be. So Jeff is continuing to work with Chad on another movie, which we're excited to see at some point, because we enjoyed. Spoiler: we enjoyed both those movies we've seen so far, but we're going to keep this focused on Jugface. But anyway, this is a guy to watch out for, and he's kind of connected in our little circle of people that we know.
All right. So besides he wrote and directed, and was I'm going to talk about really just 3 characters. There's a couple of characters, and they're all good acting, but I'm going to focus on just 3 of the characters, which are 2 main and 1 kind of half main. The two mains, the character is named Ada, played by Lauren Ashley Carter. And now she's from quite a few things, actually. She's from I think it was 2013 called The Woman. She was also in a movie, Premium Rush, with Joe Gordon-Levitt. She was in there. And
Is that a bicycle movie?
yeah. And she's also...
We watched that?
Yeah.
Is this the main girl from Jugface?
Yeah.
She was in that. Huh. Okay. Of course, I haven't seen Premium Rush in a decade.
Yeah.
So,
but she's in Premium Rush. The Woman, another I think it's 2019 horror movie called Arctic, but spelt weird, Artik. And then another kind of predominantly independent horror movie called Darlin. I think it's more of a suspense thriller. And then somewhere in 2019, actually no, I think Darlin and Arctic were both 2019. So she's still pretty active in acting. And as well, of course, she's made her rounds on the SVUs and all that stuff. So she's, yeah, they all do. Now the other character is Dewey. She's played by Sean Bridgers. Now his main big thing is he plays Johnny Burns in Deadwood, and then the entire run of the TV show, and reprises the role in the Deadwood movie that came out a year or so ago. He's also kind of cool is they both were in The Woman together. He was also in The Magnificent Seven, as well as a show called Rectified, where he played like 2 or 3 seasons as a recurring character. And he was a pretty good grab, like especially with the Deadwood background. He was honestly probably one of my favorite parts of the movie. Dewey.
We'll talk about it in a second. Yeah, when we finish with that, but Dewey was probably our favorite character in this movie.
Yeah. Now the Paul, also called the leader, he's the boss of this group out in the woods, is played by Larry Fessenden. Now Larry Fessenden has been in a lot of things. Hold on. Pause on Larry Fessenden, because I just remembered another thing that Dewey, Sean Bridgers did I wanted to bring up to you specifically, was there is a TV show called Get Shorty, based off the movie/book that Get Shorty is based off of.
Yeah.
And it has 3 seasons.
And he's in it?
Yeah.
Is that is it Get Smart and Get Shorty? Aren't those all based off an older, 1960s thing or something like that?
Yeah, this book.
So so even that original movies are based off this even older book, and then these remakes we saw with The Rock and whoever else.
Be Smart or whatever.
Be Smart and Be
It's
Cool.
kind of like it's.
Am I mixing them up? Is Get Shorty something else?
No, Get Shorty and Be Cool.
Be Cool, Be Smart, Be Cool. Okay,
It's just Be Cool.
Okay.
Get Shorty, which is based off the book, and Get Shorty and Be Cool was a sequel that used characters from that but has no basis.
Okay, gotcha.
But this Get Shorty, 3 seasons, 27 episodes, is not canceled, but is on hiatus. It hasn't actually been officially canceled by any means, but no one's coming back. Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to bring that up because I thought that was super strange.
Yeah.
And I was sorry about that. Now back to Larry Fessenden, who plays Paul/leader. Now Larry Fessenden is a pretty cool dude. He's kind of big in horror genre. He's written and directed a couple of things out there, as well as starred in You're Next, Stray Bullet, Valley of Violence, and he's ABC's of Death under his belt. N is for Nexus, and ABC's of Death 2. Now he has some significance to this podcast as well for being the writer of Until Dawn and the writer of Man of Medan.
Oh, really?
He wrote both of those.
I don't know if we were talking about Until Dawn on here, but we might have talked about Until Dawn in passing while we talked about Man of Medan.
Mm-hmm. He wrote both of those, yeah. So maybe
it sucks because I know you and Jessica liked Until Dawn. I thought Until Dawn was terrible.
I have my gripes with Until Dawn, but as a movie, it's not awful.
Yeah.
I've seen way worse.
Might have been a better movie than it was a video game, maybe.
It's cool.
Yeah, anyway. Really cool, though.
Now, I kind of told you about the people in the movie, and you kind of, so you know what you're kind of getting into. You got good actors in a independent film that's done by a good writer and good director. Now, it's funny because it is filmed on location in Nashville, quote unquote, in like the outskirts of Nashville.
Say Tennessee specifically, or say
well,
Nashville?
the Wikipedia says Nashville, but the movie said Tennessee, so I'm not entirely sure. Maybe they use like both.
I mean, the whole movie's majority of the movie's in the woods, so like it's
we got some hillbilly things even in Nashville, and not too far from Nashville, the big city, quote unquote. Anyway, real quickly, plot synopsis is the main character Ada discovers that she is pregnant very quickly by we'll just say she discovers she's pregnant. I'll leave that for you to have fun with that. And how this thing works is it's a small, I don't know, maybe 8 family cult, I don't know, out in the woods. And there is a pit. Just a pit, just a big old sunken hole in the ground. And now Dewey has been selected, I guess, by this entity that resides in the pit, and every now and again will send him a vision, and then he will sculpt a pot out of ceramic, out of
jug. You should probably say,
a jug face, if you will, and whoever face it is, the entity is asking to be sacrificed to it in order for these people to maintain perfect health. Which is kind of weird, but...
Well, they say that as long as they maintain the sacrifices, the pit, they always say the pit provides.
The pit provides.
If you're ever sick or unwell or anything bad's happening, people will go, like, literally down into the pit, and they are cured of whatever ailment they have. So it's like, these aren't crazy folks worshiping nothing. Like, there is an entity within the pit.
Yeah.
So you said cult. I mean, are they a cult? They're worshiping and... something legitimate, like it's real.
But they're going out of their way to keep people stupid. Like, they're making sure... Because at one point, they have to go to town to sell moonshine. That's how they make their money. But he makes sure that his daughter goes with him, and he makes sure that she's dumb. Like, she's not allowed to look at the TV or not allowed to interact with other people. Like, it's a cult. Because they're brainwashing.
Kind of culty.
But it's a cult that is right, sort of. Because they have a creature that is... An entity, rather, that is... providing for them. So it's half wrong, half right. It's a cult regardless. It is a cult. Though they have more backing than some cults that I've been in. Anyway. So, with that being said, as it goes on, Dewey gets vision, makes a new Jugface, and Ada discovers that it's her face.
Yeah. Poor Dewey, like, he has a vision. The visions seem like they're pretty draining. He comes back from a vision. He ends up drinking after the vision to, like, I guess, deal with the impact of the vision. Because when he has the vision, he molds the whole Jugface and does all the work within the spell, within the vision. He comes out, I think, drained and just, like, jacked up. And he drinks himself and passes back out. And then she goes to the thing while he's passed out. She goes inside the oven thing and sees that to get the jug and finds out it's her face. Now, I don't know how you tell it's her face.
I mean, you do. It's got her eyes, it's got her hair and everything. Like, it's actually not an awful representation. Like, that's kind of why.
Yeah, I wonder if they had somebody on
they
staff.
Did.
Okay,
I was going to bring that up. A potter and sculptor, Jason Maulik, Mahtlke, designed and created all the jug faces.
Well, that's cool.
And some of because there's a couple of them, because you see
I've seen some of the other ones that kind of looked pretty good. I can't remember. Did we see hers enough? I just don't remember when they showed hers. I was like, I don't know how you tell that's
hers was hers. It had her hair cut and stuff like that.
Maybe I didn't look at it good enough to specifically tell it's hers.
It was her, and it says each one was a one of a kind.
Yeah, Hope somebody's got them somewhere.
I'm sure they do. I hope so. Or
Chad's got them somewhere.
Each cast member took theirs home or something. Because he said he based them off the cast and crew.
Yeah, very cool.
To make it easier for him. But yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool.
Very, very cool. So she sees hers and she proceeds to go hide it in the woods. I don't know much more you want to say after this, but what happens is a series of events of varying degrees of punishment for the entity in the pit, knowing what she's done. the pit's all kind of all knowing in a way, whatever the entity is. I do love the mystery. I do love how the pit is handled because you don't ever see a creature.
Yeah.
You don't ever see anything. You see the ending results of what it does to people who don't do what they're told to do.
Oh yeah.
You see like blood, guts, and cool like aftermath of what it does, but you don't ever see a creature. And I love that being done that way because I feel like seeing a creature wouldn't help this movie at all.
No, I think if anything, it would take it away no, I'm not trying to drag down, but like I said, it's independent. It's a lower budget, and so I think if they would have thrown a monster in there, you're like, oh, that looks really dumb.
Yeah, I think it's handled wonderfully.
Well, I think that's also a great technique from a lot of things where whatever you imagine is better than anything they could have put on screen.
Exactly.
So you see you don't even because occasionally either Dewey or Ada, since she hid her jug, is now seeing through the eyes of the entity as it exacts vengeance.
She's getting visions. Not Dewey, but she's getting visions of like it's pushing into her head what it's doing to people,
and she has to watch.
She has to watch it what it's doing to people, and it's violent.
And when that happens, like you don't even see like its hands or anything in front. You just see like you get like a red glare that's kind of like jarring, and then it kind of zooms. Is it red or sepia? Anyway, and it kind of zooms in, and it kind of like crawls and creeps through the woods, and then rushes at a target.
Yeah, and then later you see the aftermath.
Yeah,
like the blood in the river was pretty good.
The blood in the river is like the organs in the tree and stuff. Like, they did pretty good.
Very, very. I think it's done very cool. Before we wrap it up, like I say, we pointed out Dewey as being our favorite character, probably. The main actress, she's what I love about the story is is everything bad that happens in this movie is her fault.
Yes.
Like the entire the entire movie happens because of she is scared and selfish.
Which who wouldn't?
Exactly, but she also lives in a village where she's known this was happening. But
and it was fine as long as it's happening to other people.
Yeah. So it's her. So she's but great. I mean, she's a great character, and I get what she's doing, and I get why it all happened. But it makes for very like she's the quote unquote heroine of the story, but she's not doing anything for good reasons because she's scared and selfish, which is what's happening, which leads to all the other we'll say deaths that happen in the movie. But Dewey, we just love the actor is just really knocking this character.
Oh yeah, he's fantastic.
I can't really do any of his lines because his delivery is what's so funny.
I want to accidentally take away the joy from it, but
he's like the only real comedy relief of a fairly dark and violent story. But he's just like and he's like maybe the only truly innocent person in the movie.
I would say he's the only true innocent
in the movie, and maybe that's even why the pit selected him because he's a true innocent.
Because he's, for lack of a better term, he's not like he's simple, but he's also, again, because it's a cult. I think they've made him simple.
Maybe a little bit, yeah.
You know, they've kept him.
Yeah, he's not super dumb or anything. He just doesn't.
He's aware and he can figure things. He's like, I'm not. Even I think at one point he's like, just because I don't see stuff doesn't mean I'm not stupid.
Whatever he says.
He comments on like he's aware, but he just chooses to ignore and be happy. Because I can end with the tagline, and then
we'll wrap up. I think we watched it on. Was it on Shudder?
I think so.
I don't know how many folks have Shudder these days. It's $4.99, $5 a month for a Shudder app where you can. Well, they curate horror movies and stuff like that. I wish we get more indie stuff like this on Shudder because Chad's second movie Dementor is not on Shudder, and I wish it was. We had to go a roundabout way to watch Dementor eventually. But I think Jugface is on Shudder or something.
It's on a couple of things.
Yeah, you can watch Jugface. I'd go ahead and buy it. I mean, Jugface is a very, very, very entertaining movie.
Oh yeah, very much. So.
Before Blake wraps up with the tagline, you got one ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I was going to say before he wrap up with the tagline, we'll end this thing. I just want to thank everybody for listening and keep coming back for more and stuff like that. We really enjoy making the podcast. I don't know if he listens, but I want to thank Devious.Pixel, our last episode. Thank their Mladen Markovic, which is Devious.Pixel, for coming on for our last guest episode. We had a lot of fun making the episode with him. I hope everybody enjoyed hearing his thoughts and getting. I mean, you've been seeing the Devious.Pixel name attached to our podcast for years now. It's kind of cool to we got to put a face to it. We put a face to it, but you put a name and a face to an artist that's been doing our podcast for so long. That was really fun. So I want to thank Devious, of course, for modding now. I told Blake it feels weird. We always called him Devious or Devious.Pixel when we talk about him off podcast, and now when you meet somebody, it's hard to keep calling him by their screen name. It's because like we should call him Mladen now.
Yeah.
So it's we want to thank Mladen for, of course,
for helping
out and sticking with us and stuff like that, and coming on the podcast. It was great. I'm forgetting something else. Oh, I want to thank Jared Jones of Emerge for giving us access to the song we use right now for our intro. The song is Letting Go from the band Emerge. They have an album out right now on Spotify, and they've actually been touring kind of locally recently as they get stuff back together. I'm hoping they'll be doing new music soon. Be very excited.
That'd be dope.
So look up Emerge on Facebook. Their links to their stuff is in the show notes already anyway, so just click on that, give them a listen. Very cool. Give them a follow. Great band. Jared's a great, really, really fun, such a nice guy. Every time I've ever ran into him, he like jumps right into a hug, like we've known each other forever.
Yeah.
Very sweet guy. I like him quite a bit. That's all I got. So again, thanks for listening. Follow us on all the social medias. Tune in to our Twitch channel stuff. We're having a lot of fun making those. We want to make the podcast episodes about those eventually. You got to come come listen to us. If you think me and Blake are funny sometimes, you might think Brian is also funny sometimes.
He's funny.
Will we say Brian adds to our funniness? Maybe not. Maybe Brian is just barely as funny as we are sometimes.
Sometimes.
You might think that's funny. He got some good jokes in their videos sometimes. But we're all equally as nerdy or funny as we ever try to be. But so come join us for that. We're having a lot of fun on the 3 Smoking Controllers co-op endeavors Twitch streams, which was just attached to our normal 2 Smoking Controllers Twitch channel. Again, links are in the show notes. I am done talking. I'll let Blake wrap it up now with the tagline from Jugface, and we'll see y'all again in a couple of weeks.
A tagline for Jugface. The pit wants what it wants. And I want to wish everybody a good evening.